Yeah.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum, and welcome for today's episode. Today's episode is all about the conflict, which is comes after the marriage sometimes or in early marriage, where there are blurred boundaries around finances and responsibilities and co-living when there are multiple people are living in the house. Yes, Shanaz, let's start with you.
Assalamu alaikum, dear sisters and listeners and viewers. Yes, conflicts a major part of the Asian community life, especially domestics where we live in big families and there's always conflict. Now, this usually begins with our living arrangements. So, our living arrangements, how are they? We're living in a country where, okay, so you might have a 4 or 5 bedroom house, but majority of the time there's probably three decent sized rooms and two very small rooms for small children, not for a couple. And these things, as we said earlier, that they need to be discussed before the marriage actually takes place. That my daughter is coming into your house. What are your arrangements? Because small space, too many people, conflicts. This is where it will all begin. Small space, too many people, lots of clutter. Small space, too many people, lots of untidiness, and you could say dirt as well. So we need to really look at that. Is it worth bringing another child into your home where everything has started beautifully? Bring them in your home and then have these conflicts that will begin because there are no boundaries in place, there is no timetable in place, there is nothing to say, right, okay, so this is the house, this is how we live, this is how you stay. And it becomes quite monotonous where the young ladies come into the house and her maybe their family dynamics are very different. If you come from a small family into a big family, that's quite a shock anyway, where there's more people to begin with, and then there's with more people comes all the other things, more clutter, more chatting, more jokes, so to speak. And sometimes we don't really like other people's sense of humor. Then staying in a certain way when you're amongst other people. So all these things are things where we really need to sit down before the marriage and speak. Because if you're a small family and you're not used to having lots of people around you, even if there's no other conflict, if there's no other issue, just the fact that there's lots of people around, that may be something that you're not managing very well.
Mhm.
And if you're coming from a very big family and you've come into a very small family, that again might create loneliness. It might create the sense of, oh my God, there's just me and no one's talking to me. They might be a very small family who don't chit chat all the time. They might be people who spend a lot of their time in their rooms or doing their own independent thing. So it's very everybody's living arrangements are very different, and in some families you have what we call a family living arrangement, as in they'll do lots of things together, they'll play games together, they'll go out together, they'll cook and clean together, they'll do everything together. And then there's other families that are just living together, as in everybody comes and goes at their own time and they do their own things at their own time as well. So they're there, they're family, they're blood related, but they are all adult and individuals. So it's very different. All families are very different. What's your take on that, Sister Zara?
Exactly. So that's well said that when you when done everything very beautifully, but then there is a reality come, and in that reality, most of all is first of all that the living space where you are living and from what kind of environment you come. If you come from a multi house with multiple people in a space where it's the something like as you said, the less people in there, And in that less people space is basically nobody's talking to each other and you feel lonely, and vice versa. If there are too many people and talking too much every time someone is coming and going, and continuously, like, someone is in the kitchen making teas or something like that, and every time you see that, of what I am doing here, and you don't does not find any quiet space. This is basically comes into a drastic position where you are worn out emotionally. I'm not saying the physically, because of that, a completely opposite situation. In that completely opposite situation, how to say something and how to explain yourself. This is basically overwhelming both of the spouses, because that is the stemming of the conflicts. And as we are going to talk about that, today's episode is about the conflict, and that's the red flags in the conflict, when you are not able to speak, when you does not have any space for yourself and communicate well about your needs, because you are used to get up in a quiet morning where you have your own breakfast calmly, but you get up in a space which is chaotic in the morning, and you feel like that, it drains you just early in the morning. And obviously, how you are going to get used to about it. So one thing is the compromise with the situation, because you choose that. This is, already, when the relationship is starting, that you are going in a space where they all live together. And and if you haven't thought about that earlier, and if you haven't thought about that, the situation would be like that, how you would deal at that point, by communicating or by compromising. Because when you go in a space, you are one person, and the one person versus 10 person. They does not understand your needs. Be aware of that. Even though you communicate them, because they does not understand your needs, because they are not aware of it, it's not your fault and it's not their fault. In that situation, you either have a different timetable, like, wake up 1 hour earlier and have your calm day started,
Mhm.
right? Or just try to be change yourself and be within that chaos, and try to be learn how to live with other people. This is where I'm going to talk about that, when you don't have the actual space.
Mhm.
And if you have discussed this earlier, and if it's a temporarily, like on the weekends or something, like when you are being family, all family together, and you are living somewhere else, that is something you need to talk about earlier, or in even early marriage, and
Mhm.
discuss with your spouse and discuss with the parents, if it's the possibility, live nearby and then come often, so you have a peaceful mind and the relationship.
It's interesting you say about learning to live with other people. I think in a family situation, if you have the mother-in-law or the father-in-law who is quite strong, and they are fair as well at the same time. Sometimes they're strong, but they're not fair. But they need to be fair at the same time. So if they're strong and fair, and they say, okay, right, this is it. You're a new person. You've come to this house. This is how we live. This is what we do. Tell us a little bit about what you find right about it and what you do not find right about it, and tell us how you lived. And then obviously, you would just say to her, right, okay, so our family's a lot bigger, our house is a lot bigger. This is how we do the cooking. This is how we do the cleaning. This is where you will have to help, and everybody's going to help. You're not going to be on your own. We're not just saying that you are going to be helping. So you have to do your bit. This is your bit that you need to do.
Yeah.
They are, so that's all the chores that can be done. So your room is your responsibility, and your husband is, he's an adult, he can take care of himself, but certain things he may need that would be up to you. Now, the other thing would be the finances as well. So she's come into your family. Maybe she's from a small family where the parents were really well off. They didn't need to take any money off the children, so they did all the bills. and she probably just used her money for her purse and her shoes. So now you need to obviously say to her that we're a very big family and these are our finances. Be transparent. This is how much we pay every month to live in this nice, beautiful house. Now we do expect everybody to contribute. All these things, like we said in a previous episode, they need to be discussed before the marriage actually takes place. Because if she now turns around and says, "Oh, actually, I wasn't really expecting to pay anything," then that's, reason for conflict. This is where conflicts will begin. But if you have already said to them that this is how we are, and then she comes in and you fairly say, right, okay, this is how much we would expect from you.
Mm.
If I think most girls are usually quite happy to pay their way. They're quite happy to know what the finances are, to know who's paying what. They don't want to live off their elderly father-in-law or their elderly mother-in-law. They do want to contribute, but it's just a matter of actually putting your tables on the card and telling the people in the family, your own children as well, that this is how we are going to run the house. This is your duty at this time. This is her duty at this time. This is his duty at this time. So
Yeah.
it's combining all the household things, all the household finances, and the goings and comings as well, like the relatives when they come in or when you go out to visit. How is that going to work? It's very important that people actually discuss that before or well, after the marriage has actually taken place. Even if you have discussed it before, you have probably discussed it on a skeleton level that, you've just mentioned the whole thing. And now you're discussing it on a practical level because you are living together and she is now part of the family. Whereas before, she was going to be part of the family, so she needed to know certain things. Now
Mm.
she is part of the family, and this is the family things that she needs to know.
Yeah, that's perfectly said because putting the cards on the table, that's what you need to do because you have certain system in your house earlier. No house is without any system. Even though if there's a small family, they have some kind of system in there that who is doing what and how the things are that. And in this country where we are talking about the children who start working as early as 18 or 20, it's a big or small job and they are taking care of their own finances. I have seen people who are not taking a single penny when they in our Asian communities as well when they start even the small jobs at the age of or 18, and then in the uni they do the other jobs. They does not take the anything from their money. Even though they are living in the parental house or somewhere, they usually more of self-aware. And if you have a family where you you are not open about the finances, then that is a problem because in some situations in people don't like to talk about the money because they think that talking about the money is not right with the children or to anyone. But the money matters. Money is the stem of conflict when it's not transparent. We are not talking that you talk about each and everything, but we know that there is a certain amount of money coming in, certain amount of money coming going out because there are some bills which we use like gas and electricity, the Wi-Fi, the council tax, the mortgage or non-mortgage or something like that. The big D's. If you are living in a joint family system and if you have a certain dietary requirements, your choices, then try to be at least mindful that, just to be pitch in like that, or just explain them like, you need that. Does not put your own makeup or shampoos or skincares or fancy foods into the household grocery,
Mhm.
or don't expect that is coming with the household groceries.
Definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
right?
Mhm.
And then there is, if you are a person who like the sweets and the chocolates and the things, and the other people, you bring a package, you put in the counter, and other people are living there. They are not aware you bring it, and they are eating it, and then you make a conflict, like, I just bring it yesterday, a pack of chocolate, it's nowhere. So this is what I usually dislike or hate, when in a family, in a household, the sentences are started like that. Who will do it?
Mhm.
Who eat it? What happened with this? This is the biggest questions of the conflict. You are living the five people in the house, so one of do you will do it,
Mhm.
right? So there is no who, then decide and ask that this is the task. We are busy in that moment, so whatever, whoever is free, you are going to do it, or either we are going to change the date and find a mutual date when we can do it. Like, usually we say that it's a really minor job. There's a bins going out every day, every week, once a week. And then you ask that who will do the bin, right? Or said that no one done the bin and it's piling up. You need to give that responsibility to someone, anyone who is free, or rotate it. One person do the, like, the recycling, one person do the household things, one person take care of the garden, one person take care of the bringing in the grocery, one person is taking care of the putting the grocery on the place. So you build a system if you are living with the multiple people.
Mhm.
Even if you are living by your own, driving your own system is very important, both for the finances and the practicality.
Mhm. Definitely, definitely. It's very, very, and these things at the beginning, they seem like, oh, it doesn't matter what's a couple of sweets, what's a couple of this. Oh, it doesn't matter who makes the roti. It's all this is just at the beginning, it's like, oh, it doesn't matter. But in the long run, if the same
Mm.
person is making the roti every day, they will become resentful. If the same person is, paying for everything every day, they will become resentful. And if the
Yeah.
same person is taking advantage of the grocery shopping, putting their own stuff in there, it will become a problem after a while. So if it starts off, as soon as you start off, you make everything clear, then at least it's all out there and everybody knows where they stand.
Yeah.
I had a young lady once tell me that when they got married, obviously when people get married, they don't discuss finances because they believe it's rude and how can you be so gamine as to talk about your finances or talk about money because we're taking a daughter into the house and everything we have is hers. And in practicality, it's not hers, but they say, "Idhar jo kuch bhi hai, sara iska hai." And you think, well, actually,
To clean, I think
cleaning is,
Sarah Iska had to clean it, or
yeah, yeah, सब कुछ इसी का है. Just only to use and to clean, not to store, like take anything else from it. So she said that we didn't actually discuss that. So what had happened is once we got married, and then after the honeymoon period had worn off, or the paycheck period came along, and the father-in-law said, "Well, in our house, this is what we do. We have a pot." And that pot happens to be his bank account, by the way. Everybody puts money in there, and whoever needs it, then we give it to them. And then we start the ball rolling again. Everybody puts into that pot, and whoever needs it next, we pay for them. So this girl was quite sharp. She was like, not going to put up with any of that. She said, well, obviously what we want to do is buy a house. But in the meantime, you want this person married, you want that person to do this, you want. So we're going to be contributing towards this pot. But all these people are probably not going to be here when it's our turn. And by that time, the pot will be empty anyway. So we have to fill our own pot. So she was like not playing ball. And that became quite quite a sort of like quite a sadistic issue within the household. There was lots of problems around it, saying, "Oh, what sort of a household does she come from? Because this is how we do it." Of course, if it's something that you do, lovely. If it's worked for you so far, that's great. And if that's how you want to continue, then do. But this person has come from a different household. They do not go by these rules, and they
Yeah.
shouldn't be made to go by these rules because they will become resentful. They will not want to follow your rules, and this will be a cause for many of your problems to come. So
Mm.
always be very, very careful about the finance side of things, especially when you think that with the bigger finances, with your other children, your this child who's married with a spouse, they are contributing towards the fees of the university student in the family, or the taking and bringing of the university student in the family, the shopping for that university student in the family. So obviously that child is expecting it from his parents or from somewhere, but is it the responsibility of your child who is newly married and has new financial commitments? So I think it's all, there's lots of different financial issues in different families. There will be different issues. Everybody should look at their financial circumstances. And a lot of the time, because the girl's come away from her family, she's
Mm.
left behind all her financial, whatever it is, and now she's starting fresh. And even then, you might think, oh, well, she's earning 2,500 a month. Where's it all going? But she's probably got, a phone bill, a gym membership, probably other things that are car insurance, maybe a HP on the car that she's got. So it might look as if she's earning quite a lot, but a lot of that she's still paying for.
Mm.
So it's what she's left with is probably half of what you see as in, oh, she's getting this much money, but she's only left with a small amount. So don't just think that because people are earning loads that they have that as disposable income and they can just come and put it in your pot. No, it won't work like that because it might not be disposable income. It's got somewhere to go.
Mm. Exactly. That's what we talked earlier about that, there are lots of things which you have to tell other people about your family system, family rituals, your part of the money, how you work around the money. Is not about that you are being mean about anything. It's called the being transparent. If you don't find the right word how to communicate it, this is why we are here to tell you to how to communicate. Is not about that you are asking someone to someone. It's about talking about the things which are going to be going to look at the bigger picture.
Mhm.
So having this series is about having the marriage, not the wedding day, and how there is a things should be discussed earlier, which is your family system, how you work around the money, how you meet people around in your house, that how many people coming and going, how many people, like if you have a really bigger circle, if you are very active in community and you want that your daughter-in-law is also part of that, this is the things that are important to think about. And this is the things when you are looking for a spouse for your children, or when you are talking to a prospective girl or boy, as in yourself, just think about that, what are the norms of your family, because
Mhm.
they are norms of your family, and the other people might not be aware of that because they are not their norms.
Yeah, exactly. There won't be norms for them.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
you need to talk about that conversations, as we discussed, that, when you are meeting the in-laws, before having after choosing the person and before fixing anything. And
Mhm.
even though if you are very infatuated or in love in a marriage, you just want to get married with that person, then be ready to compromise on certain things, and then be really, really clear about your boundaries, and really, really be clear about the things which are your non-negotiables.
Mhm.
And then the both person should be aware of that, in the relationship there are giving, taking, giving, give and take. So if you are not ready to give financially, then at least ready to give physically.
And
like
emotionally.
being more available,
Mm-hmm.
being more practical, doing the things right. We all does not always need the money, but
Mm-hmm.
we need the emotional and practical support as well. If you are not able to give, as Shanaz said, that that maybe look like a big pay both of you are having, but there is a big bills comes with that pay as well. But being physically available then,
Mm-hmm.
being emotionally available then,
Mm-hmm.
rather than just shutting off and not communicating or not telling that I already being promised that my car EMI is going for next 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or the gym is myself, my me time. I need to go there to be there because I need that time. I'm not taking that away from my life.
Mm-hmm.
But the other things I can part into that, I can do these tasks for you, which you are doing it and you're spending money because someone else is going to do it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like if you have a properties to manage and you ask that, okay, don't give the money, but manage that property, that the paperwork, do the emails, or if they have the shop, just go few hours to spend there, or just the babysit on the weekend of some siblings children so they can have some other things, because they can save the money from there and they can put into that financial need. So be available in other ways when
Mm-hmm.
you are not available for in the money. And that is almost the last comment from me. Yes, Shanas.
Right. So my last comment would be to, if they say to you, don't tell your parents this, make sure you tell your parents it, whatever it is that saying you. Because I had people say to me that, or they told me not to tell my parents this. Anyone that says to you, don't tell your parents this, make sure you tell them, because your parents are older, they're wiser, they've seen the world, they'll be able to pick up on the red flags around this conversation, this comment that they're making. Also, once, because it's like, oh, don't tell them this. Why should you not? If it's something that is important to you, to them, then they should have been speaking to the parents in the first place, and they shouldn't put that child in that position. Then what will happen is sometimes you will find people will say, "Oh, do you not trust me?" And the
Mm.
answer to that is no, I don't. We've only just met 6 months ago, a year ago. So, but we always feel when somebody says, "Do you not trust me?" We just get all frazzled because oh, we have to say yes. No, we don't trust you because we've just met. I trust my parents' judgment, or I trust someone else's judgment who is not involved in the situation, so they can see the wood from the tree. So you need to discuss it with them. It's not about trust. It's some people will say, "Oh, don't you trust us?" It's not that we don't trust you, it's just that you want a peaceful life as well. And if you're going into a position where you're not comfortable, you're not entirely sure, then you won't have a peaceful life. So that trust, and also people's trusts, they'll how do you know, inshallah, that the trust will always be there. But don't let those words fool you. You're young, you're starting off, you don't want to be taken advantage of. So my last words are communicate with your family, whatever anybody says to you, make sure you communicate it back to your parents because they're older and they're wiser and they will know what bits to pick up on and what bits to sort of like maybe treat as, yeah, okay, this will work.
Yeah, and I will just take few more minutes about that, the point you bring it in, that, the trust issues. The point is that, the trust is the most misused word in the world. Trust is, take that the word when somebody tell you, don't you trust me? Similarly, when somebody say, pardon me, if you don't mind, can I say something? So that is the hashtag. They are going to say something which
That
you
you
would
mind.
mind.
Yes, yes,
Yeah. So they
yes.
know that this is something you can mind it. This is
Mhm.
something which you can, which obviously not acceptable. They are aware of that.
Mhm.
So when somebody is going to lie and they said that, you know that I don't lie, so why you need to mention it when you don't lie? When you are going to say something which is going to hurt someone, why you are asking the pardon before? When you are asking trust me, so it's mean there is something fishy is going on where you must be alert yourself and ask more and discuss more and try to be like, being how could I ask this to someone? Whenever there is a question come into your mind, whenever you are discussing something and there are, how could I ask this to someone? Then think about that. It's your sixth sense, your internal self is telling you something. There is something you must ask.
Just one last thing. When they say you're our daughter, not their daughter, they don't mean it. So don't fall for that one. Please don't fall for that one. You are your parents' child. You will always be your parents' child. And it's lovely that they think that they
Yeah.
want you to be their daughter. But at the end of the day, your biological children are your biological children. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. That is the point, Shanaz, where we have to give a reality check,
Hmm.
where we have to find it, and then as a therapist, I will tell you that the things. If you are not clear within yourself, if you are haven't does this real sense of self, you does if you does not have a way where you are going to see yourself whole,
Hmm.
right? Then you need to take some advice, take some help, take some sessions or something like that, because you need a third person's point of view in your life,
Definitely.
who can connect the dots for you, who can tell you, this is the view. You are not looking at the whole picture, and they are able to show you the whole picture to see. And this picture you can see that, where there is a shading spaces, wherever you have to be more awareness comes within being a self-aware. If you are being a self-aware, if you know your own boundaries, if you know your own limitation, if you know where you can compromise, and if you know where you can't, with what you can't stand at all, because in this process we are sometimes I will add this point here in this episode, because this is also in the mid of our season, where some of us being neurodivergently different. We might be healthy, earning, perfect person, but we are think a little bit differently. We understand things differently, and this is basically where it's not making us someone where we don't want to connect, but we are unable to connect in a way, and we need more time and space and explanations to understand the things.
Right. Thank you, people, for joining us.
Thank you very much. See you next week.
Okay, see you next.